Hello, my name is Mark Aron, and this video is called Student Basics. In this video, I hope that a student or a parent is going to be able to see the basics of navigating the district website for a student, shortcuts on a Chromebook, and the basics of Drive, Classroom, and Gmail. It's my hope that as a student, if this is the first time or a refresher course, you're going to learn a couple tips and tricks. As a parent, it's going to give you the ability to at least know how things run. So if you're looking over your student's shoulder, you might be able to help them out in order to kind of find things or help them, get their classwork done. So let's get started. I'm going to start right here on the school district website, mwk12.ny.us. Now, the school district website is the first thing that will open up when the student opens up their Chromebook. So the Chromebook's open, they've logged in. This is the first thing that's going to pop up. So that's why we're going to start right here when it comes to understanding what we have to do. And as I scroll down, I want to focus on this quick link section right here. You see my little red circle to highlight, and we're going to focus on the student resources. So this is always going to be on the main page. They don't have to go to any website to find what they need. They go to student resources. When I click on that link, okay, I'm going to have information here. Notice right there, help setting up. So we're going to have some videos. We're going to have some documentation to help the student get things done. So notice right here about your Chromebooks, connect to your Chromebook Wi-Fi. We'll have a video about that, and this is the spot to go. There will also be some general information here, how to update your student passwords. And as I scroll all the way down, here's the links to where I have to go. So your student portal login, Google Classroom. I'll show you an alternate way to get to Google Classroom. Pearson, IXL. So 2 through 12, no matter what grade you're on, you're going to be able to kind of get everything that you need to be done right here at Student Resources. So this is a very, very important link to use. As I go back, I want to show you another important link, and that's right here, the Remote Learning Center. So again, here I am in the quick links on the right-hand side, and I'll click on Remote Learning Center. And again, we notice here on the left-hand side, the topics are going to be updated. You're going to have YouTube videos just like this one available for you to understand what's going on. So highly recommended that as students or as parents, if you need some help with the website, first and foremost, you look at student resources. Second, you look at the Remote Learning Center. All right, so now before I get into any of the Google Suite sites, I would like to introduce you to a couple little tips and tricks. So if I press the Control button on my keyboard, I hit the Shift button on my keyboard and hit the question mark button, Control Shift question mark, I'm going to have this window pop up. Overview, welcome to your Chromebook. Unlock all the amazing capabilities of your Chromebook. So this is going to help you out is a very, very simple interface about how to get some things done. So an example, keyboard shortcuts, how to use the camera feature, how to fix connection problems, open, save, or delete files. And the great thing is, because it's Google, is that if you don't know what you're looking for, well, now what you do is you sit there and you'll enter information into the search and type in the word that you want. So let's just try classroom. And I'll pull up everything I need to know about classroom. I click and it'll bring me right there. So that is Control Shift question mark. Now there's a second one, Control Alt question mark. Control Alt question mark, as it says right here, it says search for keyboard shortcuts. So I just want to show you the 4 or 5 most important shortcuts that you're going to need to know. But right here, if I need to know anything, Control Alt question mark, tabs and windows, page and web browser, system and display settings, text editing, accessibility, etc., and it'll tell me exactly the keys I need to press. So I'm just going to search them up right here so you know what to do. All right, cut. Control X is to cut. All right. Copy. Copy is Control C. Paste. Control V. Now, why do I present copy, cut, and paste? More than likely, your student is going to be sitting there and having to put information in one spot or another, have to put information in the Google slide, have to put something into a Google form, put something on the classroom, put something in an email. So those are the most important things. Control V is to paste. To cut, it's Control X. And And to copy, it is Control C. And again, if this went too quick, you can rewind a little bit in the video, hit pause, or you can always just hit Control, Alt, and question mark to pull this up. Now, another one that I highly recommend, and I'm going to type in the word screenshot. Okay, there are two options for screenshot. There is called take a partial screenshot, Control Shift, and that's called the window switcher. If you look above the number 6 on your keyboard, you're going to see this key. It's a square and 2 lines. That's the window switcher. So Control, Shift, and the window switcher is going to take a partial screenshot. To take a full screenshot, you hit Control and the window switcher. Now, why this is important is because if you have a question, if something is working or not working, sometimes words in an email may work, but sometimes a picture, as we say, speaks 1,000 words. So by taking a screenshot and sending it to your teacher or sending it to the person you're trying to get help from, if they see what you're looking at as well, that might help. So if I were to take a partial screenshot, I hit Control, Shift, and I hit the window switcher. It's the button above 6. And you're going to see my screen went a little bit darker, and I have this little target. So I'm just going to click, and now I drag, and I am going to take a screenshot of just the area that is in this white area. Okay. When I let go, you're going to notice on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, it's going to pop up and says, this is where your shortcut is. Ready? I let go, snap, screenshot taken. Okay, copy clipboard. It disappears quick, so I want to show you one more time. Control Shift, window switcher. Drag, there's my screenshot. The window pops up right down here. Okay, so I can copy the clipboard immediately and paste it. If that disappears because it's too slow, oh no, what's going on here? I missed it. If I click down here, it's called Files, and I go to Downloads, right here, see what it says screenshot? That's where my screenshot's going to be. So it's anything I do on a Chromebook is always going to be in the downloads folder, and that's where it's going to be. But if you're good enough with this, Control Shift window switcher, take my screenshot. The window pops up. I just hit copy the clipboard. Or if I had just hit Control window switcher, I'm going to take the full screen. Notice it says screenshot taken, and there's my full screen right there. So again, Control Alt question mark is going to bring this window up. It's very important to know these little keyboard shortcuts because it's going to make life a little bit easier. Copy paste are the easy ones, but in my opinion, the screenshots are really good because if we can't find a way to express ourselves with typing in words, a picture is going to speak 1,000 words. Okay, so now let's get into the Google Suite. All right, because that's where most of your work is going to be done in this school district. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move away from this. I'm going to show you an alternate way to get to Google. So if I go to google.com, there's my search stream. I have this grid up here. See, it says Google Apps in the upper right-hand side. I'm up on the upper right-hand side. I like to call it the waffle. Why is a waffle? Because it looks like a waffle. When I click on that waffle, notice what I get here. Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Docs, all the applications in my Google Suite. This is always going to be here for me. So I could easily switch from one app to another app just by clicking on the waffle. So the first thing I want to show you is the Drive. Most of the files that your student is going to work on is going to be supplied to them in the classroom. And when it's done in the classroom, it winds up being automatically copied to their Google Drive. It's a cloud-based system. It's not stored on the computer. So I click on Drive, and it brings me to Drive. Now, if you wanted to create anything new, it's right here. All right, there's this new button right here. Click on New. I can create a new folder. I can upload a file. I can upload an entire folder of information. I can make a new doc, a new sheet, a new slides, anything that I want. I click the New button. Now, the neat thing about this as well is here's my Drive. My Drive has a lot of information. I have 51 gigs of information in my Drive. Videos, slides, files, all the other stuff. But because it's Google, the best thing to do is to do search. You don't need to know the title of the document. You don't need to know the date of the document. You could just search. So an example, you did something, you put it in the wrong spot, or you're trying to do your homework and you forgot where it is, whatever it is, and you can't find it in the classroom, just go to your Drive. And I was working on something called, I I know I was typing about soccer, so I'm going to type in SOCCER, nice and slow into my search bar. And now it's going to pull up all this information here. If I want, I just hit the magnifying glass. And there's every single file that contains the word soccer. All right. Let's just say it was a book report, maybe Great Gatsby. Let's see. Oh, look at that. I have a video called The Great Gatsby. So some student must have produced the video for me. It will find anything for you. So if you are struggling to remember what the name of the file is, if you can remember what was in the file, a word or two, using the drive and using this great search feature is going to figure it out for you. I would highly suggest, though, to organize yourselves, new and folder, and create stuff in a folder. All right. And then you add those files to your folder, and it's going to make your life a little bit better. Notice here on the left-hand side, you have your drive. If I click that down arrow, I'll have every single folder that I need here. All right. So that's how I can kind of keep myself organized. Really, really easy to use. You will also have your recent files here on the left-hand side, and I'll show you the ones that you've kind of worked on the most. So there's a little bit of everything here, but in my opinion, the most important thing is what Google does best, which is just search. Okay. So, and then by the way, as I just clicked on this down arrow, I can do an advanced search, so I can search for a specific type. So if you know it was a Google Doc and you know it was from a friend, not owned by me, or it was from, you owned by me, it's going to be making it a little bit more pinpoint. You even go to the date. So that's going to be the advanced search. So that's this down arrow right here. All right. And that's really all you need to know about Google Drive because all your files are stored in there. So if you're organized with folders, great. If you're not, try to do a little bit better. But always the search bar right here is the most important thing to find the information. All right. Now let's go to the classroom. So I'm going to go to the classroom. I'm going to go to the waffle over here. See that waffle? It's always there in any of my Google Suite applications. I click on it, and now I'm going to go to Classroom. Now, in our situation, we are going to be using the Classroom a lot. So if you're familiar with it, you might learn a tip or trick or two. As a parent, if you're watching this video, you'll be at least understanding to see how your student can navigate and find what they need to find in this classroom. So first and foremost, you notice that I have a lot of tiles here. I'm a teacher. But one of my colleagues created a test class for me. So you're starting the new school year and you're noticing that you have a lot of stuff that's from like last year, as in you're no longer in, fifth grade, you're now in sixth grade. If you still see classes there, you click on these three little dots. I call them the snowman. If you click on the snowman, just leave the class. You get to keep all your files. It'll be in your drive, but you're not going to have that tile there. So I still have to kind of clean up a little bit because I have my classes from last year. I also have some soccer teams I kind of work with a little bit. But if you see classes that you don't need to be in anymore, just hit leave class. Okay. But I'm going to focus on this tile right here called test class. Okay. This is a class that Mr. Callan set up. Okay. Notice it says due Friday. It looks like I have something due on Friday. It's called welcome back slide. Okay. I have right here, open your work for test class. And I have right here, open the folder. So all this is, there's a lot of information in this tile. I'm already in this class. If I click on this folder, brings me right to Google Drive. It's going to bring me right to this folder called test class, and that's where all my files are going to be. So remember I told you could search in Drive? Well, look how that's connected. My Drive, Classroom, test class, all my files are here. So if you quickly need to see a file, you go right down to that folder, you get to the class that you want to. When it comes to open your work for test class, because there's work assigned, click on that. Look at this. I have work that's due on August. Oh boy, it looks like I have something missing as well. So again, if you're looking at this, I'm going to click the back arrow. This tile is going to give me a lot of information. If it's blank, it means that there's no work due right now. Okay. It's going to tell me about 7 days out what assignments are. I could click right down here, open your work for test class. You see the little person right there, or I can find the files right there. That's how it's going to work. Now, if you don't have a class automatically set up for you, your teacher didn't add you, I go all the way over here to the right-hand side. It says create or join a class. See the little plus button I'm clicking on right now? I could join a class. I have create class because I'm a teacher. students who can't create classes. You hit join a class, it's going to ask you for a class code. Your teacher is probably going to provide that for you in an announcement in class, in an email, but you enter that class code and you'll be automatically joining their class. So Mr. Callan added me to his class. So let me enter test class and find out what's going on. Okay. Now, as we enter test class, there's a couple things that we can look at. First and foremost, if I click on my 3 lines here, I like to call them the sandwich. We have the waffle on the right-hand side, and we have the sandwich on the left-hand side. If I click on that sandwich, classes, it's going to bring me right back to my main screen. Okay? Let's go back in the test class again. If I click on my sandwich, look at this. It says calendar. You will probably not have one class. You will have numerous classes and numerous assignments and numerous teachers. If I click on calendar, it is going to give me the week and the week of everything due. So obviously Mr. Callan is the only person that's assigning me something right now, and it's due on the 7th. But as I have more teachers and more assignments, I'm going to find them all here. I can move forward and backward in the calendar. Okay, Google Classroom likes to make it week to week, kind of like a planner. But that's right there. So students, if you're looking at this and you need to keep yourselves organized, I click on the sandwich, I click on calendar. So again, I go back to my classes, I click on the sandwich, I can click on calendar. I go into a class, I click on the sandwich, I click on calendar. The calendar feature is very important. Anytime a teacher makes an assignment, it's going to wind up on this calendar. So that's something to definitely look for. All right. Also in this test class, as I'm just starting here, I have these 3 tabs, Stream, Classwork, and People. I will review all 3 in a second. Right now I'm in the Stream. This is the title of my class. This is an important thing, Meet link. Now, Mr. Callan says, hey, class, here's a link to get into our Google Meet. See right there? I could click on that, and it's going to open up the Meet so we could chat and have a conversation. It's that simple. If your teacher says that you're going to have a Meet, all you need to do is go into your class, click on the Meet link, and you're going to be in for that Meet. Very, very simple. Now, this stream is just a way to communicate, nice back and forth, so I could add a class comment here to Mr. Callan. Thank you, Mr. Callan. And I hit send, and he's going to get that message. Okay, so there's a way to communicate kind of back and forth. Some of your teachers may allow you to do this. Some teachers may turn it off. But if you want to, what you can do is you could type some information, add something, and share some information with your class. On the left-hand side, notice what it says, upcoming. So right there, once you get into class, it's going to show you what is coming up in the class. I only have one item here, and when I click on that link, it'll bring me to that item. Or I can click View All. But the stream is really where most communication happens. If you're looking for your classwork and what you're supposed to do, well, there's a tab for that called Classwork. If you're looking just for general comments and general announcements, you're going to find it right here in the Stream tab. But you're always going to have the reminder of what you have to do for class. You're always going to have the opportunity, if that link is available, to enter your Meet. And you're always going to have the ability to, as I click on the sandwich, to go and look at your calendar. When I click on the Classwork tab, this is where all my work is. Now, Mr. Callan organized my topics. If this was a month in the school year or a semester of the school year or a full year, there might be a lot of topics. There might be a lot of assignments here. So we've been asking teachers to make sure that they make these topics so it's easier for you to find information. An example, week 1, there was an assignment, your new locker. Week 2, there's an assignment, welcome back slide. As I go look at here, I have another link to get access to my Meet. I have another link to access my Google Calendar. And I have another link to access my folder with all my files there. So there's a lot of ease to get to where you want to. But I want to show you a newer feature. It's called View Your Work. I click on that, and we've seen this screen before, but it's going to be a summary of all my assignments. So Mr. Callan had given me 50 assignments. I'm going to see all 50 assignments. I'm going to see the date that they're due. I'm going to see what the status is. Is it graded? Was it returned to me? Is it assigned? And I could click on this. So students, mom, dad, if you're trying to figure out what is going on, and maybe the Classwork stream's a little bit disorganized, or you don't know what's due and what's not due, click on View Your Work, and you're going to have it all here. It's going to be in chronological order, and you're going to see a status there, and you could click on anything from here. It's going to bring you right to the assignment. All, assigned, returned, missing. You're going to have all that information for you right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this first assignment, week 1, your new locker. When a student opens up an assignment, the first thing they're going to have is this little thing, okay? Decorate your locker to plan for the new school year. Looks like there's a file. If I click on View Assignments, that brings me to the assignment. Private comments. Talk with your teacher. Private comments are only visible to you and your teacher. If you have a question on a particular assignment, you could add a comment right there. The teacher will get an email notification. They could write back to you. It's not going to be public like this stream where anyone can see it. It's just between you and the teacher for any questions here. Got it. Okay. The big thing I want to focus on is up here on this right-hand side, your work. Now, first and foremost, looks like I have a Google slide given to me. What is common is sometimes the students click the X. When you click the X, you actually remove the file from the assignment. So I'm going to do this by accident. Oops, I removed it. I can't find the file anymore. What do I have to do? Okay, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to add or create. I'm going to go to my Google Drive, and I'm going to use the wonderful thing called search. I think we called it locker activity. Oops, sorry about that. I was typing too quickly. Google Drive. Search. It was called locker activity, I'm quite sure. And I think it was a slides. There it is. There's my locker activity. See, what happens is I was trying to figure it out, and I remember what it looked like. So there's my locker activity. I insert. Now the file is right there. So if the teacher assigns me something, over here on the left is going to be a description. Over here on the right is going to be the file. When I click and open that file, now I could do my work. It looks like Mr. Callan is asking me to decorate a locker. You know what? Just for the sake of speed and brevity, I'm just going to do something like this, and I'm going to insert a shape. That's fine. There we go. I inserted a shape. Okay, I'm all done. Okay, this is what I can do now. Right here, I turn in. That's it. And a lot of the files you'll see possibly a turn in button on the upper right-hand side of that file. But here's my work. I hit that green turn in button. One attachment will be submitted. Yes. Turn in. 3, 2, 1. Now notice what it says. It says it's turned in late. That's fine. But I did turn it in. So I go back to my classroom. I go back to the classwork. Okay. And just to show you, it says turned in late right down here. If I go to view your work, it says turned in, done late. But at least, students and parents, if it's red, there's a problem. If it's black, it means that it's turned in or assigned. And if you have a grade back, it'll be green, I believe is the color that they use. Okay. So go look at the welcome back slide. Okay. Today you're going to be doing some things. Okay. Working on a slides presentation, fill the information you like about things. So I click on view assignment. Okay. Looks like here, Mr. Callan actually attached a file for me to look at. So this is a Google Beginner's Guide. This is a PDF file. So I can click on that. And I can open it up and I can look at it. Okay. I also have this slides file, and that's the slides file that I'm going to work on. All right. When I'm all done with that work, I hit the turn in button and I hit turn in. It's that simple. If I have a problem, I messed up. I know I forgot something. See that unsubmit button right there on the right-hand side? I click on submit. Unsubmit to add or change attachments. Don't forget to resubmit once you're done. I can now take that file back. So just like in a physical classroom, you're turning in papers to the teacher and they're returning it to you. You can turn it in. You can take it back if you need to. And again, I can also add files when I want. But when I'm all done, I just hit turn in. Nice and simple. Go back to my test class. Okay. And as I click out of here, I go, view my work. There's both my assignments turned in. I'm just waiting for Mr. Callen to grade them for me. That's how it works. So there's a lot of information in there, but basically I've showed you how to attach files. I showed you how to communicate with your teacher. I've showed you how to turn in and not turn in or unsubmit your classwork. And I think, in my opinion, the most important thing is this thing, view your classwork. That's going to give it to you in chronological order. Okay, a very, very clear thing to see. And then notice too, there's a lot of repetition. You can still access your Meet from the Classwork tab. You can still access Google Calendar from the Classwork tab. You can still access all your files from the Classwork tab. Last thing I want to show you is People. Now, the People tab is not used often, but I think it's a pretty important one because notice here's a teacher. If I click on that email, that envelope, it's going to open up email so I can email my teacher. I don't have to worry about remembering their name and stuff like that. I can click on it right here. Also, parents, now you can't see it in this screen, but if as a student, what I could do is I could add my parent as a guardian, and then you'll get a summary email here. But that'll be in a separate video. But again, a very, very easy way to contact my teacher right there. And that's going to bring me to my next point when it comes to email. So right now, let's just say I want to email Mr. Callen. I click on that envelope, and it's going to bring me to Gmail. Nice and simple. And I'm going to compose a message. Okay. I highly stress and suggest, I go over this a lot with my students, that the subject line, you don't leave the subject line blank. Try to be specific so that the person reading the email understands what they're looking at or what they're going to read. So Friday's homework assignments would be a good subject line to have. Missing class on 9/4. That would be a good subject line to have. Don't leave it blank. Okay. Be specific with the subject. Right down here, you can enter in the information that you want. Just try to, type it as professional as possible. You notice down here, you'll see some to bold, you get italics, you can underline. I think a nice feature as well that you could see is if I go below this, and if you're down here, as I clicking follow me all the way to the bottom corner, okay, I could attach a file. So remember I was telling you about that screenshot thing? I click on the paperclip. Okay, I'm going to go to my downloads folder. And my files, downloads. I want to go date modified. There's my screenshot. Okay, today. There's my screenshot. I hit open. Okay. So I attach that file. Mr. Callen, I will be absent on the 4th. I attached a screenshot of an issue I'm having. Nice and simple. So I get attached file right there. If it's something in my Google Drive, notice what I have right there. It says insert files Google Drive all the way down the bottom. So it's a very, very simple thing to use. But you have your way to communicate in the classroom. But those of you who are be sending back and forth emails, check your email, check your email, check your email. I hit the send button, and once I hit the send, that email is sent out to Mr. Callen. All right. When he replies to me, that's going to come into my email. So I'm going to have a little notification. Email notifications are not going to happen in the classroom. Okay. Email notifications are only going to happen in Gmail. So it would be helpful that, when you're logging on for your distance learning or when you're hopping on to do your homework assignments or when you're logging on to just look at the classroom, check your email as well. So I'm not going to send this to Mr. Callen. But let's go back here to my classroom. If I want to go to my email, I go over here to the right-hand side to the waffle, and I can click on Gmail. It's going to bring me right to Gmail. So the waffle is a very, very clear thing to use. So I hope this video was helpful. Remember, you could just rewind a little bit and look at things over again. But this was just a basic introduction of how to do things with the classroom, how to do things with the Google Drive, how to do things with some little shortcut keys with your Chromebook. And hopefully, parents, if you're watching this, you now have a better idea of what your students are going to see. And students, if you're watching this, hopefully you'll have an easier transition into this online setting, or now you're going to feel a little bit stronger in an online setting going to the new school year. Thank you very much and have a good day.